Now, questions are being raised about the shooting of Daunte Wright and any potential consequences for the officer who shot him.
So we want to show you the video that's at the center of this case, and we want to warn you that some may find it graphic. And the car rolled on for several blocks before it crashed into another vehicle, and Daunte Wright died at the scene. Now, the police chief of Brooklyn Center, which is the area where this happened in Minnesota, is weighing in on the video that we just showed you.
As I watched the video and listened to the officer's commands, it is my belief that the officer had the intention to deploy their taser, but instead shot Mr. Wright with a single bullet. This appears to me, from what I've viewed and the officer's reaction and distress immediately after, that this was an accidental discharge that resulted in the tragic death of Mr. Wright.
And that seemed to be the part that everyone was focusing on yesterday. It was trending at one point, accidental discharge. So not everyone agrees with the police chief's findings. And so we want to bring in defense attorney Shaka Johnson and also former Philadelphia Police Deputy Commissioner Joe Sullivan to discuss this. Accidental discharge. Joe Sullivan, I'm going to start with you. First, this is kind of two parts. One, what did you think of the fact that the police chief spoke, and even though said that we're still investigating, pretty much gave an opinion about what went on based on that video? And then two, how likely is it to have an accidental discharge, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, I think the chief recognized the need to get that video out there and provide some context to what it shows. It's very unusual for this to happen, but it does happen. It happened up in New Hope in 2019, and I think most people remember the tragedy on the BART platform back in 2009. The taser is a phenomenal tool for law enforcement. It's about 7.2 ounces, which is a loaded Glock is over 2 pounds. So this doesn't happen often. Part of the investigation will have to determine how the officer was carrying her taser. It should be carried on your non-dominant side, so you have to reach across. The taser feels very differently than a Glock when you hold it. It has a safety on it that must be disengaged. And when you hear the officer yell taser, 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 there's two reasons for doing that. Number one is that you're warning the person that you're about to discharge it against to stop what you're doing. You're about to be tasered. You're trying to warn other officers not to be in contact with the person that you're about to tase. But it's also for your own situational awareness, so that officers take a moment and utilize their muscle memory to make sure that they have the correct weapon in their hand. So it'll be very important to see what the training records are for this officer. What was her training updated? As she meeting her yearly certifications. That was an issue in New Hope. That officer had not been certified for many years. But watching the video, it does appear to me that is what happened. It doesn't change the fact that this is a terrible tragedy and a young man has lost his life, a mother has lost her son. But I'm sure that the officer is completely devastated, and this could not have come, obviously, at a worse time.
And definitely worth noting, I mean, you said there's a clear difference in the feel of the weapon as well as which side you may carry it on. We heard several times during the press conference, Shaka, that this was the reaction of an officer in distress. Your reaction to that?
Well, I understand the officer may have been in distress, but quite frankly, everything that the commissioner just stated, I think is a reason. First of all, I agree with almost all of them. And I think those are reasons why, despite the fact the police chief has inserted his own opinion into this particular investigation at the front of the investigation, I think that you should not be surprised if you see criminal charges come from this. And the reason I say that is because there are a lot of criminal charges in the codes that go to reckless behavior, wanton and reckless behavior. You don't have to have a criminal mindset. You don't have to have the intentional thought process formed to do harm, but your behavior can sometimes be so reckless that you cause harm, in this case, a death to someone. And under the criminal penal code, there's a charge for that. The reason I'm telling you that is because everything the commissioner just outlined, the fact that the taser weighs differently, looks differently, is carried differently, on the opposing side of your duty belt. There are so many different fail safes that are in place to make sure that you do not accidentally pull your taser when you're trying to pull your service weapon, or vice versa. You don't pull your service weapon when trying to pull a taser. I don't know how you could possibly have a 7-ounce taser in your hand and think it was a Glock, or conversely, have a 2-pound Glock and think you had a 7-ounce taser, which is different in color and comes from a different part of your duty belt. So despite the fact she said taser, I think it's important to understand that there may have been some reckless behavior here, so wanton in disregard of human life, that it caused the death of Mr. Wright. And I wouldn't be surprised if there were a few criminal charges that stem from this.
Joe Sullivan, I want to bring this back to you, because I think as civilians, a lot of us were thinking, wow, more than 20 years of experience that this officer has had. How do you confuse that? It seems like, especially when you're holding it and it's right in front of you, that you would notice that, hey, this is not a taser that's in my hand.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I want to stress is that the taser's been used millions of times. Mm-hmm. It has a success rate of 65 to 70%. It has saved lives. It has, enabled police to have another option other than deadly force. But unfortunately, there have been 12 to 15 times that I'm estimating where this has occurred, and it's unfortunate. One of the things that has to be looked at is training. In some of the other incidents, as I mentioned, one of them being New Hope, officers had not kept up on their training. So the investigation is being done by an independent agency, the State Agency of Criminal Apprehension, and it's being overseen by the State Attorney General, which I think is critically important and an excellent move. And that's part of what they'll be looking at. There'll be the criminal investigation, and then there'll be a policy investigation to look at issues really around training.
Quickly, because you mentioned training, I guess for some folks, again, we're civilians, so we appreciate your insight here, that would be part of the basics. Would training then cover, hey, this one's on your right, this one's on your left, or just as a refresher? Is that what you're referring to when you say training?
Exactly. Training has to be conducted every year. And one of the things that, when you look at reform that's being looked at right now is national policies, national certifications and standards. And that's one of the things that Commissioner Ramsey has been supporting, because you have, in the United States, you have anywhere from 600 to 800,000 law enforcement officers, depending on how you do that count. You have anywhere from 15,000 to 17,000 law enforcement agencies. We're very unique in that regard, but one of the major problems that it poses is that at least half of those police agencies have less than 10 officers, and some of those agencies don't, have the funding and the ability to keep up with their training.
With the training and looking closer.
For instance, the Philadelphia Police Department, who their officers certify in their firearms and their tasers every year.
Shaka, real quick.
20
seconds, and we have to wrap. I apologize, real quick.
I've been a proponent, especially here in our city, of the Philadelphia Police Department being outfitted with tasers. And we've been saying we wanted them outfitted at the academy level, meaning they have to get the requisite training when they're being issued their service weapon, and also maintain that training the same way they go for annual recertifications every year with the lethal force, with their service weapon. They need to go with the non-lethal force. As it relates to this particular case, I want us all to pay very close attention. This particular officer didn't just grab and didn't pull and shoot. She held that taser out for a little bit of time before it was discharged. It wasn't simply a dismount from the sheath and then shoot. So I just want us to all just think about what training means from a policy procedure. We've seen this nationwide. We've seen it here in our city. And now here it is again in Minneapolis.
Absolutely.
And I can't speak to the timing of it all with the George Floyd case.
Tragic. Shaka Johnson, Joe Sullivan, we certainly appreciate your insights this morning.
Thank you. It's so hard to cover these topics in such a short time in the morning, but we appreciate your insight, both of you. Thank you. We're going to take a break.
Thank you.
Thank you.